Hello, welcome in. How may I help you today? Yeah, okay, perfect. So a couple labs and then you wanted to kind of see about prescriptions and stuff. Beautiful. Okay, so come on in. I'm just going to kind of check you in a little bit. Can I please have your first and last name? Perfect. Your date of birth, please. And the year. Okay. And then, you gave me your general reasons for coming in today, but are there any, specifics that I should know before we get started? Okay. Sure. Yeah, that'll be fine. No worries, no worries. You have a family history of... I see. Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely note that. And then the recent pain, where is it localized? Has it been spreading at all over time? Has it been changing over time at all? Okay. So some variations in intensity, some variations in locality, is that correct? Okay. And then let's just return to that family history. So it's just slightly concerning to us because it is fairly severe. Did anybody else in your family have that? Just the maternal grandparent? Nothing on the father's side? And does your mother take any preventative medication with regard to... Okay. If I were you, I'd just maybe suggest it to her. It's not theoretically a big deal, but, or if you want to just send her in to see me. Yeah, okay. But it will not affect what we're doing here today. I can give you a little flyer with some preventative measures that you can take yourself. You can bring that home and show your mother as well. Yeah, you're more removed from it, so I'm not super worried about you. Yeah. But people go to the doctors so they can get worried, so sorry, can't help it. Okay. Excellent. So let me just make sure I have a physical copy of a lot of the stuff that we've laid out today. So I'm going to write down... And that was, right, maternal grandfather. And then the labs that we want to do today. Okay. We are just going to do a couple for you. And do a slight phlebotomy test here. Make sure all that blood work is nice and good. And then I will also go ahead and swab your cheeks. Okay? Is that alright? Okay, perfect. And then I'm going to have to take a little tiny skin sample. It will not hurt at all. Okay, what are we thinking? Do we feel okay? Alright. Starting with some blood work, don't worry. I know that sometimes this gets people a little bit anxious, but everything's going to be alright, trust me. So, which arm would you like me to take blood from? Okay. Alright, I'm just going to press on it a little bit just to get that vein to come out. You have very non-evident veins. That is okay. Yeah, tense your arm just a little bit. Alright. Okay. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to look at me. Alright, yeah, look at me. So how was your day today? Yeah? Oh, what happened? Oh my gosh, I know. Yeah. coworker drama can be, I mean, can't really say while I'm here, but it's honestly, you know what? Just feel confidence in yourself. Walk in that break room tomorrow and just tell her that she's been being a real bitch. Yeah. Yeah, you felt it. Sorry. Just a little prick, right? Just a little prick. Got you good and distracted. Okay. So we're just running this through. Have my tubes here. Some nice blood. Yeah, you don't have to look. Yeah. No, keep looking at me. Yeah, keep telling me about your life. Where do you work? Oh, very fancy. Okay. Yeah, how long have you been there? Alrighty. And did you move here for this job? Where were you before? Are you serious? How could you ever leave? That makes me angry. Okay, I got it. Got all that blood work. We're gonna set these over here. I'm gonna just make some notes on the label for the tubes real quick. So, name again. Is that spelled with an EY or just a Y? Okay. And then just confirm that date of birth for me. Alright, perfect. On the vials. Great. Okay, how are you feeling? Perfect, you're a champ. Okay, at this point we're gonna transfer over to some mouth swabbing. You get the totally new baggie. Alright, let's open this up. Alright, just gonna have you open your mouth. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna swab one cheek and then the other. It's gonna be pretty quick. Alright. Get in there. Yeah, sorry, sometimes people have to swallow. Go ahead. Alright, and then the other cheek. Alright, great. Put that in its casing. And then, forgot to mention this, but let's do another one in your nose. It's going to tickle just a little bit. It might make you feel like you have to sneeze. If that happens, just raise your hand for me, okay? Alright, ready? I'm going to do one in each nostril, 15 seconds each side. Doing great. Yeah, and that's it. Okay. Great work on the swabbing. You make my life very easy. Now it's time for a small skin sample. Okay, so I'm just gonna use these tweezers right here. I'm just gonna get a little bit of skin from you, okay? Yeah, it's not gonna be too bad. All right, go ahead and hold out. Let's have you hold out your left hand, please. Yeah, we're getting the tips nice and coated, so yeah, see, it doesn't really feel like anything. All right, perfect. Okay, you've done so well. Let's talk about some medication. I'm gonna get out the monitor again. Let me log back in with my credentials. God, there are so many computers in this place, and they make you have different passwords for all of them. I know. Talk about workplace issues. I'm gonna quit because of it. Yeah, I didn't get my medical degree for this. Okay, so let's move on to some more mental problems, mental issues, blockages that we've been facing, okay? So go ahead and just give me a quick rundown if you feel comfortable. Sure. Yeah, that's on the uptick. Yeah, so you're not alone. Yeah, they're often paired together, and the anxiety can be really debilitating sometimes. Does it feel that way? Sure. Does the depression affect your everyday motivation, fatigue, general mood? Yeah. On a scale from 1 to 10, how much would you say it affects? Oh boy. Yeah, no, thanks for telling me. We're going to make you feel so much better. Make you feel so much better. And then the anxiety, same question. Okay, so it seems like depression is sort of in the front seat, has the hands on the steering wheel, right? But you have anxiety in the passenger seat, being a back seat driver. Yeah. All right, other things. Okay. Yeah, so all that stuff is going to be within the realm of anxiety. I think we should talk about it. But let's just try to parse out anything other than the depression and the anxiety, and then we can come back to those two. So is there anything else you wanted to mention? Okay, yeah, totally. So like kind of like a weird like sensory overload. And when does this happen most often? Yes, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Sensory overload, I mean, when there's so much noise in an area, it can really trigger it, and then just everything is triggering you. Yeah. So you get triggered initially by sounds, it seems. And then it's like flashing lights, the feeling of your hair on your neck, the feeling of other people kind of close to you. Yeah, all that stuff. And when this happens, if you could just describe what you're feeling and where you're feeling it. Yeah, no, exactly what I want you. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of patients feel that building up of a thundercloud in their chest. Yeah, and they just feel like they can't let it out, and the pressure's kind of building so much it feels like they're going to explode or die, and so it causes a lot of panic. Yeah, for sure. And yeah, right in that chest area, your heart starts beating faster, you start breathing a little quicker, hyperventilating, lungs, heart, everything is just kind of going a little crazy right there. All right, other things, anything else? Sure, okay, yeah, no, that's definitely in its own realm. Okay, so these manic episodes, what is manic about them? Is it the mood, the productivity, the energy that you feel? Okay, so mainly energy and then motivation, yeah. How often do these episodes occur? Every couple weeks, okay. Yeah. And in between, it's just all dark, yeah. How long do the episodes last? Sure. And have your friends and family noticed the difference in you when you get manic versus when you're kind of at your normal, more depressed stage? Yeah, have they commented on it? Okay. So we have a lot of information here. Is there anything else before we circle back to the anxiety? Okay. All right. So within the tab of anxiety here, there's a lot we can kind of get into. I want you to tell me what triggers your anxiety. It can be the longest list you've ever told anybody. Yeah, just spitball for me. Okay. Yep, happens to me too. Mm-hmm. And does that make you feel, when you're feeling so pressured and anxious about just like a simple task or a simple errand, like, do you think that just makes it so that even more of your energy is sapped for the rest of the day or for the rest of the week? Do you think that is sort of like maybe a bigger factor than you might have accounted for before. Yeah, because it's sort of invisible. It's like, okay, we have this like fairly simple, intuitive like task in front of us, but we just can't even imagine doing it. Yeah. Yeah. And so since those tests sort of blend into the background, that anxiety you get from that paralyzation can blend into the background too. So that you just realize that you feel awful and super anxious, but you don't kind of know where it comes from. But a lot of times these they're not simple fears, but fears of like various mundane things can sap you so much that it just leads to a snowball effect. Yeah. And then of course you have the intermittent big things, like a homework assignment or a date or anything like that. But when you are just worried all the time and feel a paralysis all the time, that's a big issue, right? We want to fix that. Yeah, that's not fun. Okay, and then just another thing, how would you describe this paralysis? Is it completely debilitating, or are there some cracks? Almost 100%. What do those cracks feel like to you, those little slivers of light, and when do they happen? So you can kind of tell there's a little bit of space for your mind to sort of have a little bit of wiggle room, right? But it's just not enough, not nearly enough. And it feels like it's dwindling, yeah. How does this affect your school? Yeah, and that doesn't sound crazy at all. It's a common thing. People will feel a certain way very deeply, and then the actions they take are sort of like the diametric opposite of that. Happens all the time. It doesn't make those feelings any less valid, and it also doesn't mean that you are over those feelings. It doesn't mean you have conquered them. They're still constantly bothering you. You've just been very conditioned to continue to be enthusiastic, continue to seem enthusiastic, and continue to be productive, but it's just a slog the whole time and you're extremely unhappy. Does that kind of describe? Yeah. So we want to make sure that motivation and that enthusiasm is real. It's coming from a real place, right? Yeah, totally. Okay. So, based on all of this information that you've so graciously given me, I'm going to take a look at our medication counter here. If you don't mind, I'm just going to take a look. We could also put you on that. How much experience with medication have you had? Okay. So you've had, it was not good. Okay, a not good experience with SRIs. So I'm going to keep Zoloft and Lexapro off the table. Those tend to have those effects specifically in spades, so we're just going to keep it off the table. But I would say Prozac could be an avenue. It regulates you a little bit better. But like because you were on Lexapro, and you just felt like nothing really mattered to you. Yeah. Prozac breaking, doctor, patient, whatever, but in my personal experience, it essentially gives you the space in your mind to overcome those giant blockages. So if you see in your mind these walls, right, to simple tasks, the Prozac raises you a little bit higher so that you can like look over the wall. Yeah. Whereas what I think the Lexapro does is it tries to just break down the wall, and oftentimes that just doesn't work. The wall is a little too strong, right? You can't really force it. Okay, perfect. Let's get you prescribed a little bit of that. So here is the Prozac. Fluoxetine. And I'm just going to get you started on a low dose. I'm just going to start you out with 10 milligrams, okay? So what you'll do is you'll just take one pill every morning when you wake up. I find, you can choose what time of day you want to take it consistently. I just find morning works for a lot of people because it sort of helps to kickstart your day a little bit. But always, the biggest risk when it comes to these depression and anxiety treatments is that it will make you feel a little more motivated and give you a little more energy. And so if you're having any ideation or thoughts of doing anything to yourself, what can happen sometimes with patients is that these medications can give them the motivation to do it. Yeah. You want to tell me a little more about that? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not even going to put it in our records. This is just between you and me. It's going on paper. What's going on? This was recent. How recent? Okay. So, if you don't mind me asking, what prevented this? Okay, so they are aware. And has that put any strain on your relationship with them? Okay. That's good. And then how long were you thinking about planning? Sure. So, a long planning period, and then you finally felt that you were able to. Okay, I apologize. So you felt you were able to the whole time, but you just didn't really have the energy to go through with it. Yeah, that is the danger with some things like this. So here's what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to send in this prescription for the Prozac, but I'm just going to have you wait a bit to start. And you're going to check in back with me in 2 months, and we are going to see about this situation and see if you are still totally wiped of those thoughts. Yeah, I want to make sure that it's consistent and not a fluke, because when people get caught, sometimes they feel a sense of guilt, or and so that can kind of result in them feeling very anti doing that for like a couple weeks, and then it's back. So yeah, I trust you, but we just gotta make sure we gotta be safe, right? I want you to be safe. That's all I want. So we're gonna check back in on, let's do the 16th. Okay, we'll do the 16th of March. And I'm going to have a questionnaire ready for you when we do that. Yeah, and you're going to fill it out super honestly, and you're not going to take too long in the answers. We're going to look at it together and see how you're doing. See if you can be put on that Prozac. Okay. Is that exciting to you, though? Does Prozac sound like it could be a good fit for you with everything I've described? Okay. So besides any ideations and potential increases in energy could lead to taking action with that, it would be a good fit. Okay, perfect. So I will send the prescription in. I just like to do things early just because pharmacies can be weird, so that will be waiting for you, and then I can just cancel it if we decide that it's really not the right thing. But I think that, you know, even if in 2 months we're not fully over this hump, we could get over it in 2 more months, and you still have the Prozac waiting for you. Okay, all right. So that is going to really help you with the fact that depression is in your front seat, right? It's driving the car. Now we need to kind of just figure out the traffic jams and the fender benders that go along with that. Yeah. So what I'm going to suggest is a little bit of Wellbutrin. So Wellbutrin can often help with the mood swing part. So 2 of these every morning for if we, you know, we're going to keep tabs on it, but it might make you feel a little bit more stabilized. Yeah, a little bit more stabilized. Super important because, again, maybe this is a trend you're seeing as I keep talking about it, but one of the main things that contributes to this is being sapped constantly by all the things that are on your mind that you just cannot escape from, and by your mood swings that you also can't escape from. It's hormonal, it's your endocrine system, and that's just something that you can't control. And, you know, when we put pressure on ourselves to control it, that's not good. So hopefully the Wellbutrin can help you with that. Free up a little bit more space in your body and in your mind for other things. Okay. Get that capped, and then I'll give you your prescription. So I'll just give this to you immediately because it won't have the same risks as the Prozac. So we're going to start you off with 150 milligrams, which is a low dose, and then we can ramp it up to 300 maybe in 2 months if you're feeling like you like it when we meet. Can you remind me of your pharmacy again? Perfect. Okay, I will not forget. That's where my sister goes, so perfect. Yeah, I actually live in the city about half an hour from here, but I come in here. Yeah, I come in here every Wednesday, so we will be seeing each other on a Wednesday. All right, so those 2, sort of like a basal. Yeah, you feel pretty good about that? Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to just show you around some other meds, but we're not going to put you on any of them right now. 2 is, they're going to be interacting with each other, we're going to see how that works for you. Okay. Medication is a long process, and people take, you know, it can take years to find the combination that's perfectly right, the perfect cocktail. Yeah, so don't worry if it takes a while, and you need to let your body and your mind acclimate, right, before adding new things in, before adding new variables in. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's take a look at Buspar. So this can help a lot with the anxiety as well. The one thing I will say is that if you're ever thinking of requesting this, or if a provider ever prescribes this to you, it can make you fairly drowsy. You're supposed to take it once in the morning and once at night, and at night drowsiness is fine, but in the morning what some patients like to do is just set their alarm an hour before they really want to wake up. They take their Buspar, they go back to sleep, and then when they wake up they're energized because the sleepy part went away. But if you are somebody that has a lot of trouble going back to sleep after waking up, which is the experience of a lot of people, I can assure you that. Then you might not want to do that. You might just want to take it when you wake up, but I will just caution you on that. And this is a medication that's very sensitive to whether or not you take it with food. Yeah, stuff like that. It's that kind of medication. Yeah. So if that sounds like it's just too much for you, then it's too much for you, and we can do something else, okay? Let's think here. Yeah, you already took Lexapro. The issues that you had with it are fairly common, and I probably wouldn't have suggested it to you anyway, but it's here. Yeah, a lot of patients just describe feelings of sort of numbness, and sometimes that is a welcome feeling after so much anxiety, but especially for patients that have anxiety and depression, that's not always the right thing for them. Yeah. And then the Zoloft is somewhat similar. One of the unique side effects of Zoloft is that it can cause changes in weight, so it can cause significant weight gain. Not for everybody, for some people. People definitely swear by this. I think it's quite good for anxiety, but it has some side effects, and I'd rather put you on Prozac to start because it's going to treat your depression as well. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I'm just gonna make sure that everything is good. Let me just do some thinking. Just thinking. Okay, my thinking period is over. This is what I went to school for, I guess. Hey, thank you so much for coming in. We talked about a lot today. That's right, I need to give you a flyer for you and your mom. Yeah, I have a couple of these ready, so just tear one off. It's more common of a condition than you might realize. Yeah, go ahead. Other things, these conditions, anxiety and depression, they can absolutely be treated by medication, but that's not going all the way, and I want this to be effective for you. So I'm really going to suggest some psychotherapy, okay? So I have a couple of therapists that I can refer you to. Wait lists are crazy right now. You and your mom, you're just going to see who is available, okay? If nobody from the list is available, and there are 15 names on the list, I want you to email me. And maybe I can sort of put in a good word with somebody. Okay, so just making a note that I have referred you, and then here's the referral. Yeah. So just look them up. They all have websites. They all have establishments throughout town. They're all pretty easy to access in terms of location. But again, yeah, everybody needs therapy, and I'm really glad that everybody's seeking it. Well, not everybody is, but I'm glad a lot of people are. But I want you to seek it too, okay? I think it could really help you. And then other than psychotherapy, I think diet can kind of be at play here just a little bit, So I want you to take a look at this form, which is just going to give you all the information you need about how various foods can affect your mood. Okay, so you want to eat, I know everybody says this, but you want to eat less refined sugar, less processed foods. And also, you want to avoid meals that are like entirely carbs, because you'll have like an energy burst and then it'll fall off. So you want a lot of protein. But you know, what I tell my kids is you always have to have a carb for every meal, because you need an initial burst. So the initial burst carries you through, and then you get that protein bump. Yeah. So don't shy away from, you know, your breads, your crackers, your wheats, your cereal, but just don't make it like the majority of what you eat. I want you drinking lots and lots of water per day. I want you drinking 4 bottles about this size per day. Okay? I know that's hard. You're gonna try it. When we check back in 2 months, we'll see how you're doing. I expect that you're gonna do it. Yeah. You know, sometimes you miss a day and that's fine, but water is so important to our mental health and to our general moods. Yeah. And for just our general feelings of well-being. If you are craving sweet things, don't like X out all sugar from your diet. That's not what I'm telling you to do. Here's the thing. I know a little bit about who you are after this meeting, and I know you're kind of a little bit on the perfectionist side. You want to do everything right, and so you're going to take what I tell you and kind of treat it as gospel. But I don't want you like worrying so much about what you eat that it just becomes another thing, right? So have, you know, a Reese's cup after dinner, you know, do what you do. But just the point is that if in your pantry there's just a lot of like ultra processed cereal and breakfast bars that are really just sugar, go on a grocery trip and sort of change things up a little bit. Walmart has affordable, healthier snacks. Take a look at the sugar content, you know, take a look at the saturated fat content, just stuff that's going to help you probably feel better. But this is not a diet. Okay. Yeah. I'm just kind of giving you some information about the food that you're putting into your body. All right. And some people, you know, to help them with the whole water thing, they can put like electrolyte powder, non-sugar electrolyte powder in their water. And that works for some people. For some people, they don't like the taste. So do what works for you. I'd suggest trying it, and maybe just alternate by week so that you don't get bored, or you just alternate by bottle. Yeah. Okay, and then the last thing I just want to remind you of is that moving your body can really help you get a little bit out of the dumps. By the way, this whole segment, I don't want you to think that I'm dismissing what you're going through as just something that can be fixed with food or exercise, right? I believe in a holistic approach to medicine and to mental health especially. So I'm here giving you the meds that you need. Hopefully when you get a psychotherapist, right, they're going to give you the therapy that you need, the time you need to kind of think about what's going on in a person that you can talk to, and tools that you can glean and understand for yourself. And then the food part is going to help you feel a little bit more refreshed each day, a little bit more awake each day. And then the exercise really can give people a lot of motivation. You know, classic quote from Legally Blonde, exercise gives you endorphins, endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands, they just don't. Silly, I know, but fairly true. So just make sure, I'd say try half an hour of exercise 3 times a week and see how that treats you. So try that first. That can be a lot. Busy schedules, everything going on. A lot of weeks, that's all I can fit in. But it makes me feel good. So if I was just giving some personal advice, I'd say 30 minutes 3 times a week. Generally, they recommend, I believe it's 300 minutes a week. Is that right? I can't quite remember right now. I will email you with the number. That seems like too much. But what that includes is like your regular day-to-day walking and stuff like that. So if you're just already like walking to cafes, or, you know, if you have to park further away from your department and you walk to work, that counts too. So, but these 30-minute pockets 3 times a week are like focused exercise. You're focusing on your body. You're breathing a lot. Your heart is pumping. It's going to help. Yeah. The tricky part is getting over the hump of actually getting the motivation to do that. Yeah, because when you're lacking motivation and you try and do something that will give you motivation, but you need motivation to do it, man, it's an evil catch-22. It's brutal. Maybe the Wellbutrin will kind of help to kickstart that. I think the water's going to help too. I really do. So we will get all that in order, especially 2 months from now when we meet. As for your labs, I will send the results to you as soon as your labs are run. If we find stuff about, you know, your diet, like maybe you're kind of deficient in iron or something, and that's resulting in you feeling more fatigued and more exhausted, then I'll give you a more refined list than just this one that I gave you for foods and stuff. More refined, more catered to you. And I'll make sure that you know which supplements are best to take, so that you're not kind of in the dark and just grabbing whichever one has whatever label. Yeah, exactly. As for your skin, we can measure some moisture content there, and I can kind of maybe change the requirement for water. If you have more water in your skin, I might take it down to 3, so you'll get a lucky break. And then your swabs, just to make sure that you are escaping the cold and flu season safe and sound. Yeah, and we just want to make sure everybody's safe. Okay, do you have any questions for me? Yeah. For sure. No, I understand. It's nerve-wracking. It's an exciting process getting your medication, but it is scary how much of a process it can be. Totally. I feel you. Yeah. Okay, well, you just email me if you need something. Absolutely email me if you can't get a therapist. Okay, definitely. I really want that to come through. I think it's very necessary. And contact me if the prescription for your Wellbutrin doesn't come to your pharmacy. It should be there, the latest 2 days from now. Start taking that. If you experience like horrible dizziness from the Wellbutrin, pains, aches, nausea, just stop, right? Call me, or call poison control, or call 911, whatever, and we'll talk about what's going on. It's not, don't worry though, don't worry about it, but I just always want to make sure that you know that you can call me about that. Okay, well, thanks for coming in today. Yeah. Here, make sure that you take all these forms. Yeah, I know it's kind of a lot, but Unirom can look that over. Got it? All right, okay. Bye.